In this episode, we're talking about copper and gold in Australia, which is now the sixth largest copper producer in the world, outpacing China. Today, my guest is Michael Jones, the Managing Director of Impact Minerals, a prospect mining company in New South Wales and Western Australia. Impact Minerals is in an enviable position because it holds 100% ownership over 5 projects. Michael, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, and great to be here, Stuart, from Perth in Western Australia.
You know, it's my understanding that your company philosophy is to find world-class deposits. You know, tell our viewers about your methods and how they mitigate risk and enhance your exploratory approach.
Look, we founded Impact Minerals on the premise that we wanted to discover a world-class ore body, and that really had been a lot of my training throughout my career. As a consultant, and basically drawing boxes on maps for large companies to go and have a look at, and that was really predicated on the early days where I worked for a company called Western Mining Corporation, and that was one of Australia's most successful mid-tier explorers. And I was very lucky in the early part of my career to work for a company like that. It was very supportive for young, talented geologists. And I was lucky enough to come out to Australia and work for them for the first 6 years of my career. And a lot of things I learned there were really the fundamentals of how to go out and look for world-class ore bodies. But the thing you have to realise, of course, is that's actually a very difficult thing to do. And not many people do it. And so, we're really here to do that as opposed to, say, find a 50,000 ounce a year gold producer and sort of take 5 to 7 years to get that going and then build from there. That's not really what we're about. We're about the cut and thrust of exploration. And so, look, we have what might be called in North America sort of a project generator model. So we've always tried to acquire large tracts of ground in very prospective parts of the country. And at the moment, as you said, we're in the very enviable position of having a significant number of projects that we own 100%. But really, part of our philosophy is also to try and farm those out to some of the bigger guys. And we do have a joint venture in place with a group called IGO, which is one of Australia's mid-tier and emerging nickel and lithium producers. And that's well underway on one of our Eastern States projects. So look, it's a matter of when you're in this early stage game, exploring for world-class deposits, it's very high risk. You do have to mitigate the risk. And so really we try and spend our money very wisely in the early stages of exploration, sort of doing the target generation, doing soil sampling, getting it ready up for drilling. We might drill some of those drill holes ourselves if we think there's a good chance. Otherwise, look for the joint venture partner. And if we think the project has run its course, then we'll do deals and move them on in return for cash, shares, and royalties. And we've done that in quite a bit in the last 18 months. And that's been part of a philosophy to shift our focus from the eastern states back to our home state here, Western Australia, which is one of the tier 1 jurisdictions in the world. And we're very happy to be back home here working. And we've got some exciting times ahead of us over the next couple of years.
So what are some of those things that you do to de-risk? Like you're using a wide variety of sort of data-generated material, but give us a bit more insight into what is your approach so that when you're approaching those partners, you can say, here's the data that's going to help confirm that we're moving in the right direction on the discovery of these world-class projects.
So look, a lot of that is based around our intellectual property, our intellectual capabilities in Impact, and I'd like to think it's one of the things we've been known about over the years. We've always had an excellent team of geologists, and obviously over time, and we've been around for a little while, you have to rebuild that team, and we've been doing that over the last 12, 18 months. And I'd like to say we've got a fantastic team of geologists of mixed experience, spearheaded by myself, but we have a couple of young guys on board, which are almost putting me to shame at the moment. And so look, it's all about the ideas and the concepts that you're generating. And people talk about sort of a lack of major successes, but really a lot of it's just thinking about outside the box. And so one of the big discoveries recently is the Julimar deposit by Chalice Mining. It's probably world famous now, 10 million ounces of palladium. It's only 70 kilometres outside Perth, and it's sitting on the side of the hill that most of us have driven past. And there it was, this outcropping. So you don't need to be too clever or too smart to find these things, but you've certainly got to be persistent. And also, but you've got to be able to present those ideas to the major companies. It's going to grab their attention And it has to be genuine. It has to be things, ideas that you genuinely believe in, and they can see the passion in what you're doing and what you believe in. And that's the key to getting some of these people, across the line. So that's really our philosophy.
What's your number one project right at the moment? You're doing a bit of drilling, aren't you? And so what's the status?
That's right. If we can focus on sort of an area, so really what we've done in the last 12, 18 months is put together a fantastic portfolio of projects in the southwest of Western Australia. And now this is generally it's called what's called a high-grade metamorphic terrain. It's been very poorly explored over the years, and yet it does host a number of world-class deposits, in particular for lithium, the Greenbushes mine, which is owned by Albemarle. It's one of the world's great lithium tantalum mines. There's numerous million-ounce gold deposits in through there. And of course, the recent discovery of Julimar, there's large copper deposits. And so it's a unique almost area in that respect, in that over the decades, people have just driven over that terrain to get to the more prospective gold fields. And yet here we are, world-class discovery, 70 kilometres outside Perth. And so it's really focused attention globally back into this sort of small corner of Western Australia. So look, we've got about 3,000 square kilometres in there. It's ground that we've pegged ourselves. We do own 100% of most of it. We've got some 80-20 joint ventures with one particular group that's got some great target technology, and we've combined with them now to put together an early stage portfolio. But what we're generating at this very early stage is a significant number of soil geochemistry anomalies, very basic work. It's cheap to do. We can cover large areas, and we have a very high hit rate in terms of the targets we've identified and the soil anomalies that we're generating. And that's the first step towards drilling, and which will occur over the next couple of years.
So is that your plan, to move forward and drill there, or are you now looking to bring in more significant partners that will help to advance the development of this property?
Look, I think the market's going to be pretty impressed over the next 3 to 6 months as we've got these early stage projects. We've got lots of soil geochemistry underway at how many targets we're actually going to be able to generate. We've made a couple of breakthroughs in our in our target generation, and that's really now starting to deliver a high hit rate in terms of the areas that we're sampling and the soil anomalies that we're generating. So we're going to end up with 50 plus drill targets, I think, at least, and that's going to be way too much for a little company like Impact. And so we'll probably end up looking to attract a partner for that. And look, the principal commodities, yes, copper is definitely one of them, and nickel, and Impact has always been a nickel, copper, precious metals explorer. We've always sort of stuck in those core commodities. At least 3 of those now we can call battery metals. So we're as trendy as every other company that's looking for those now. But we've always had our roots in the core industrial base metals and the precious metals, and we're generating targets sort of almost hand over fist at the moment in this very unexplored area. So I think it's a very exciting future ahead.
So we have a lot of investors who watch and sort of follow along. What should they be looking for from you in the next 4 to 6 months?
Well, we're drilling at the moment at Hopetown, and which is one of our joint venture projects. It's just the first pass into some of the initial targets. We've got 2 to drill, and we've got another 4 sort of lined up. We're hoping to drill those probably middle of the year. One of the big issues that people should be aware of is that there's a lot of land access negotiations need to be done, as it is in most places around the world. We've done a lot of that in the last 3 or 4 months. We're now getting signatures on the pages, and that'll going to free us up to do a whole lot more of the on-ground work that we need to do to identify the drill targets. So look, we're going to have a lot of drill news flow from Hopetown. We've got drill results from Dunia coming, which is our gold target, and then on work from our burgeoning portfolio in WA.
Well, you got some exciting work ahead of you, and I hope that you'll come back in a few months and give us an update to let us know how things are unfolding.
No, we'll certainly happy to do that, and we're looking to extend our network into North America, and you guys are doing a great job for us doing that. So look forward to coming back and updating the Impact story, Stuart.
Wonderful. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks very much.